Welcome to the Altered Life Podcast, a show about the power of human connection, told in various forms from multiple sides. Join us for Season 1 as your host, Michael Castanon, brings you along for conversations that each carry an important message and takeaway you can apply in your own life. You're about to hear a conversation between Michael and Coach Bill Hart and Bill's coaching client, Ryan Lex. Bill Hart is a coach, podcaster, author, and keynote speaker. He currently coaches leaders and executives at Movement Mortgage following his 25-year career in the mortgage industry. With 17,000 plus hours in the coach's chair, Bill says he's still energized by the work he does. Ryan Lex was previously the Vice President of Operations for Movement Mortgage and now serves as their National Underwriting Officer. The theme of this conversation is recognizing that positive change can be as simple as asking for help and creating new habits that add up over time. As someone who struggled with anxiety, Ryan has embraced creating new habits like reading books at Barnes & Noble to get out of the house and creating a weekly game night with friends to socialize and have fun. The student sometimes becomes the teacher. As Bill has coached Ryan, Ryan is now in a position to give back and help others in a fresh way. Please don't forget to subscribe to this show on your favorite platform. Enjoy today's episode.
There's tons of neuroscience behind the importance of our ability to be able to read somebody else's face. We're actually, our brains are, wired for that purpose. So when we didn't have that chance during COVID, our brains were just blown. It was what's going on here? I'm not getting communication the way I'm supposed to.
Can't imagine what you're talking about.
It was very stressful, believe it or not. So Ryan, what practical tips or application can you come up with?
Yeah, I think, Bill kind of nailed it. For me, leading up to COVID, and then I think COVID kind of, really exacerbated it. I learned what anxiety was, and I've never met a stranger. I can stand in front of a room full of 500 people and speak confidently. And all of a sudden I was in my head so much, and I didn't know why. And through podcasts and resources and interaction, I sort of just told myself, I need to be vulnerable and I need to get out of my, comfort zone. And I think it's small things. Again, to Bill's point, I think it's little practice. You know how much it costs to go read your book at Barnes & Noble instead of on your couch? It's free, right? It's totally free. And you're surrounded by people. So I think for me, it was getting out of my comfort zone. It was trying to care less. I'm the person that, if I go to a new place and I don't understand if it's parking or valet, or if I'm supposed to park across the street, and I get in my head, and I used to be the guy, I would turn around and leave. I would just go home because I would just be defeated. And I got to a point where I just told myself, who cares if you look like an idiot? Who cares? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. And Bill and I talked about that yesterday. If you're in a room, if you're in the most important meeting of your life and you're surrounded by 20 execs and somebody asks a question or says something and no one understood it, or at least you didn't understand it, I just ask, right? I'm okay with being the guy that asked the question. So it's for me to getting out of my head and enter my comfort zone. And I think also by creating small new habits, you can break old habits, right? Like I said, like reading at Barnes & Noble. Every Friday you'll go see a new movie, right? Just set up a game night with friends. Me and I turned 38 this year, and I realized my first takeaway was 20-year high school reunion. Oh my goodness! And me and a couple of buddies from high school, or actually just a note in 6th grade, we have a game night. They're all across the United States, and we'll play video games once a week. And they're talking about, this is the first time all week I've hung out with my friends, and it's virtual, it's over a headset. So I think it's just creating little new habits that promote connectivity that will override those old habits where you were going to Bill's point, close the door and just be in your home, right? So,
I love that. Thank you for sharing. I sense something happening here. This is going to be passed on. There's a coach in training. There's a coach already in the making. Coach Bill, how you're pouring into Ryan is now being poured out to others. I can already tell. I don't see it with my eyes, but I can see it inside of you, Ryan, and it's really exciting. And so there's probably nothing more fulfilling for you than that, Bill, I'm sure. Look, we're coming up on only a few minutes, so I'm going to ask you guys each one last question. For the help, somebody who's looking to be a help giver, Bill, what's the one thing you would want to tell them today? Someone looking to help somebody else.
Be interested.
Beautiful. Ryan, for the help seeker, someone that's in need of help, that needs to be courageous, that needs to step up and say, hey, man, I could use some help. What would you tell that person today?
You took the word right out of my mouth. I was going to say be courageous. I mean, I think that raising your hand, knowing that you're only helping yourself by asking, and not everyone has the opportunity to have a Bill in their life. I understand that, but your best friend, a parent, someone who means so much to you, and just having the courage to raise your hand. And then once you get that connection, once you get that platform, you have to do the work. You have to be honest with them, and you have to be honest with yourself. And as long as you do the work, everything else will follow, I think.
Yeah, great job.
Yeah, Michael, I think Ryan described it really well, that moment of pulling up, like, is it South Park? Is it valet? I don't know. I'm in my head. I'm going to go home and avoid the awkward.
Yeah.
I think that speaks to a lot of people right now. And I think if that's you, if that resonates with you, then find a way to reach out, like donate time at a charity, figure out a way to help with animals or the elderly or kids. Michael, you know this from therapy, but one of the best things you can do if you are anxious and your head is wrapped around your own stuff internally is get out of the way and go help other people.
The way we connect with others impacts our life in profound ways. If we're stuck or struggling with something, often the best thing we can do is raise our hand and ask for help. Having someone you trust come alongside you as you embrace new positive changes can help you grow so much that you'll eventually be able to help others in the same way. You can ask for help, recognize the need, acknowledge and accept that you are struggling with your mental health, and you can choose the right person. Identify someone you trust and feel comfortable talking to, and then create new habits. First, identify your goal. Clearly define the new habit you want to establish to achieve your goal, and then start small. Begin with a tiny version of the habit that's easy to accomplish and increase from there. We'd love to hear from you. Please rate and review this show on your favorite platform and let us know what you think, or if you have any suggestions for future episodes.